Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. On behalf of Together Gibraltar, I'd like to welcome you all to our public debate entitled Women. This is our second public debate in the series. The first debate took place in November and focused on the environment. Our debate today will focus on feminism, equality, and other gender issues. For those of you who don't know me, my name is BENJY, CUBY, and I have the honor of serving as your moderator this evening. I'm very proud to share the stage today with our panelists, each an opinion leader in her own area of expertise, with her own particular insight and to the gender and equality issues facing women in Gibraltar today. Together Gibraltar is excited to have the opportunity to bring today to the foreground issues we believe deserve public debate, or serious public debate. These issues include equal opportunity for women, equal pay, reproductive rights, as well as harassment and sexual violence towards women. Over the past few months, we have witnessed a paradigm shift in attitudes towards many of these issues, in particular with regards to harassment and sexual violence. This attitude shift has reverberated across generations and spheres of influence, including politics, film, media, sports, broadcasting, business, and society as a whole. We are witnessing now a sudden, radical shift in the power equation. That is the very definition of a revolution. When a long oppressed majority finds its voice and then the weaponry it needs. Remarkably, many women have discovered that their best weaponry can be their 280 characters on Twitter. Although many years in the making, the paradigm shift we are currently experiencing only began to gain pace as recent as October. It is rapidly becoming the greatest social upheaval of the young 21st century. Indeed, in a few short months, many believe we have crossed an epic tipping point, with new revelations coming out not daily but even hourly. Although many will agree that this is long overdue, many also find it hard to believe it is actually happening today. Of course, none of this started overnight. Social media has helped, and today's outspoken women are often the first generations to grow up after the women's liberation movement of the 1970s, which brought gains in the workplace, universities, and elsewhere. Gibraltar is closely connected with the global community and finds itself influenced by global events and the positive change in this area. Although Gibraltar is challenged with its own particular issues, in many cases Gibraltar suffers from similar overriding issues currently being addressed across the Western world. We are all challenged today with turning these issues into real change in Gibraltar. Together, Gibraltar's core objective is to help effect real change. Our debate aims to bring to the surface important issues which are discussed in a public forum, bringing together disparate opinions onto a common platform. Following the debate today, Together Gibraltar will publish a draft position paper summarizing today's discussions. This paper may be reviewed and commented online through our Facebook page and discussion group. Once finalized, the paper will be turned into a parliamentary action through Marlene Hassan-Non MP. We have successfully followed this format with the environment debate that recently took place, which was turned into a motion and tabled to Parliament. I'm pleased to say that next week this motion will be discussed by Gibraltar's Parliament. The overriding objective of the debate today is to raise gender-related concerns in Gibraltar, for which we can effect actual change. Sadly, I'm no subject matter expert in this area. I am, however, joined by an exemplary panel who are. I'd like to introduce our panelists today. Starting off from my left, we have Tamzin Suarez, is a committee member of the Gibraltar Women's Association, which is active in a range of important areas, including running projects related to healthcare, education, family, and youth. Tamzin is also a founder of the Mummy and Me breastfeeding support group and chairs the Gibraltar Breastfeeding Association. Next, we have Nairi Turnock, who is the chairperson of the No Means No group, which is an anti-sexual harassment group in Gibraltar. The group has created a popular Facebook page, which I would encourage you all to visit. In her role, Nairi is an arts. In other roles, Nairi is an arts therapist, often working on rehabilitating. Oh, difficult one for me. Adults and children with disabilities and mental health issues. Next, we have Conchita Triay, who is a lifelong feminist and activist for women's rights. She's also an intellectual, a teacher, and has campaigned and fundraised for a range of social and political issues and organizations, including Oxfam and ActionAid. Conchita also takes an active interest in mental health issues and the environment. And lastly, on my far left, we have Malene Hassan Noon. Malene's an independent member of parliament and a mother of four. She's a history of arts graduate and holds a diploma in journalism. Malene is an advocate for human rights in general and women's rights in particular. She fights for issues of social justice and spends much of her time working with the vulnerable and underrepresented members of our community. In our format today, we will kick off with a roughly 10-minute talk by each of the panelists, covering issues that concern them most and the change they would like to see in Gibraltar. This will give you a valuable insight into their area of expertise and individual perspective. This will be followed by a Q&A session with the audience. Please save all your questions for then. You will have ample opportunity to raise questions and discuss the issues raised. We will conclude with a brief 1-minute closing remark by each of our panelists. Without any further ado, I'd like to move on to our first panelist, which is Tamsin Suarez, to give us a first talk.